Now the microphone's working, translation correct? Okay. Well, I think before I start with the best practice, I also want to summarize the results from the workshop in Mainz, which was the third one. And we've discovered somehow the conditions, especially in Germany, when we're talking about skill matching, are a little bit different than compared to the other member states here. As right now we don't face something like a high unemployment. We also have rather low youth unemployment compared to other countries. Still, there is a problem on the other side, which is often described as a skilled workers shortage. And one reason why it might be, okay, there is not enough offer on the labor market for people anyway. And that leads often to certain skills are sought after, but they're not presentable. And so there's still a gap between what is needed and what is there. So that has to be balanced out. The other main topic is what is described as demographical change. Because we in Germany, that differs, for instance, from France at least, we will face more and more people getting older and not enough people coming after it because we don't have enough children. And that will provoke consequences in the future. So how to be able to deliver the products we're producing now, how many, because we're not an export-oriented nation. So that's one big issue. And that forms the kind of discussion and the recommendations a little bit. So the conclusions are the skilled worker shortage has reached several regions, especially these which are not that much developed like the metropoles, but the rather rural areas see already there's not enough young people still there because they want to move to a bigger town where they have jobs, where there's more attractive infrastructure. So the companies who are there have a big problems to recruit their new workers. And so then we were focusing specifically on the green economy, where we experienced in the project that actually the situation here is a bit different. Because right now, the companies of the green economy sector are firing people instead they are searching for them. That's clearly because these markets are so directly dependent from the governmental regulations. Right now, the changes about the energy sector, for instance, have a huge impact on the production of solar fabrics, for solar cells and all that. So right now, there is no skilled workers shortage anymore for the green economy. And it might change again in 5 or 10 years when energy prices go up again, and or the bad weather happens somewhere, and we again think, okay, we better have the solar cells and the windmills and everything. So it's very, within a few years, it's very different how the market will react and which qualifications are needed. Is directly dependent for that too. So we need institutions who really gather some scientific expertise, who are close to the markets and who can really improve the conditions of where to educate further. So skills in the future will be matched, because especially in the ICT, it will be faster and faster. As Jana also described, some technology will overcome within maybe half a year. What I learn now may be old in half a year. So how can this be matched? So you need some institutions to enable to react on this. And what I want to present here is one institution that's not directly the government, but it's not private either. It's something in between. It is called in German FKW, and it runs center. Okay, so for once this is a non-profit institution, and it's about researching needs, gathering expertise on various sectors of the labor market, but also developing products, developing programs, and really consulting companies, which can, as far as I've seen, ask for the consultancy more or less for free. Don't know if there's any expenditures or some fees needed, but well, everyone basically who is in the company can access the competence center. What they're doing is they research about how small and medium-sized enterprises specifically can assert themselves in the international competition. And what I've presented here, the website, which is the start rather, but let's go to the next one. They don't just anything they like, they have described certain focus areas. One is the securing of qualified employees, which will work like. They will inform the employers what they can do to maintain their people. Because if it's getting harder and harder to get new ones, it's better you keep yours that we have right now. What can you do to be attractive enough? The next thing is about innovation. You have a new idea, how can you transform it? Where are the founders? Where is the support? That's one big issue. And there's also the founding of startup companies, which often are the self-review economy in maybe 10 or 15 years. That's something that this RKW Center is really focused on. They accompany the startup entrepreneurs and show them where you can go through to get this, to get that, and what can you do to really transform your dream to a reality which works also financially. So this is why I put this example, because this is opening and unlocking something of non-financial means as well as financial means, although as I understood it, mostly RKW is not giving money out to the companies, but that sometimes it's just about telling where can you get it, by whom. So this is a very important thing. And because it's really not just, it's research summit, it's really scientifically based, it's really, the competence center cooperates with the SMEs directly, with the social partners like the unions, as well as the Chamber of Commerce and so on. Associations which are, like, it could be a green economy association if there's something that will be in there, that will be connected to the RKW's competence center. Politics will have always a really important role in this labor market sector, and science, and combine that together. So this is maybe something like an answer if you want to have something which creates a network. The RKW is an institutionalized center or force can work as such. So they develop a lot of really quick, implementable, and practically oriented concepts and tools. Because that's one important thing. It's not just a theory, it's not just something which is totally incomplete and just done by scientists and SMEs couldn't approach it. On the other hand, it's not just something like, well, simple answers, simple solutions, but they don't really work because there's no brain under it. So that's something which really combines the science on one hand and the knowledge and the expertise, as well as the practical capability for the SMEs, which is, I think, really important. Now I've put some screenshots on here, and they are German only. I haven't found they have an English translation. So what they do for once is they make a lot of conferences in various formats. Here they have workshops, they have, here this is about skilled workers, security. Then they to seek and find them, or how to bind them in the company. The quality of these applications is really good because there's a lot on the market. Often it's not, if you look inside after the nice day out, it's often not really something new in it. The quality of these is really good, I must say. And they have a lot more and more features on the web. Here it's a Fachkräfte, which is the term for skilled workers, blog, where every company actually can go into, log in, and really, a little bit like Nemesi now, can search and discuss topics. Like someone was surprised about that, how to be friendly for families, because that's one big issue in Germany. We are not that youth and family orientated anymore. And companies actually have to learn that because the new generation, Y as we call it, demands to be a family-friendly business. Otherwise, they go somewhere else. It becomes more and more important to be friendly also for fathers because they are allowed to have a fathership holiday too. Not just the women anymore, it's also the fathers. And they want to have it. So if a new company thinks that we haven't done that, they wouldn't want to get new people. So these are topics where the SMEs can inform themselves directly via internet, but also through consultancy. So there's actually a whole network of, you can see here on the map, how Germany is actually covered. The competence center itself is located here, and it goes for the whole nation actually. But every region has its own RKW. And these are doing more regional orientated, or they cover these regionally orientated things. They give you orientation about new business field and ideas. They can support companies about work schedules. They can consult them about energy efficiency. So it's a lot actually what they can deliver. Sometimes regionally based, sometimes also centrally coordinated, which I think is something specific in Germany, because many things are locally rooted or globally, and this one is actually combining it somehow. And well, the project that they are also doing a lot of projects, and these address various topics. Here, for instance, it's the competitiveness through personal strategy, because especially the smaller companies are not used to have something else, personal strategy. So this RKW gives companies tools for that. They can advise them about recruiting. They offer as web-based integration pilots. They give a lot of information. And also they have something like a knowledge base for management and workers' council. So they can look after, we have a subject, what's the data about? They have a central place actually to gather information about that. So how is this all organized? Because this is not just a club or anything. It is actually founded by the Federal Department of Economy and Energy. So the money comes from the government. Still it is, as I showed about before, it's regionally also presented. But they work on their own. It's not really like the government tells them these topics have to be there and we have to have it like this political orientation. They are autonomous, but they are financed publicly. What I think is interesting is this institution seems to work. It doesn't seem just to work for 5 years or something like that. It's actually there since 1921, which is shortly after the First World War. And What I also found interesting is that it was found by a certain Mr. Siemens and the VDE, which is the club or the Association of Engineers. And I think that gave me some input to see if institutions that should consult the SMEs or the economy, it often works when it comes from inside, from the companies, from the entrepreneurs themselves, not top down like politics think there needs to be something. We make an institution and we search for people who come to them, or for companies. It's the other way around. It's an insight I get there. And I think that's why I wanted to present it.